So as I said on Monday, I would reprise a little bit of the discussion of St. Brendan the Navigator, since we're celebrating his feast Friday evening, Saturday morning. And reminder that he is a 5th, early 6th century saint known for establishing monasteries both in Ireland, in the Hebrides, in Wales, in Brittany, and of course, most famously for the long voyage recounted in that most famous of medieval accounts, which may or may not have been a trip to North America. And so we spent a little bit of time about that on Monday. A picture again of Tim Severin's attempt to show that it was possible in the same style of boat in the 1970s. We made it all the way from Ireland to Newfoundland, and then a map again of the journey that is maybe conjectured that St. Brendan may have taken, culminating in either Newfoundland and or Nova Scotia. And then a map which onto that puts some of the episodes from the life of St. Brendan. So we looked at all that on Monday. What I thought would be interesting to do is read a poem that was written about all this by J.R.R. Tolkien called The Death of St. Brendan. So if you will indulge me, I will read to you this poem, which is told by an elderly St. Brendan in response to questions from younger monks later as he comes towards the end of his life. So that's why it's called The Death of St. Brendan. At last out of the deep seas he passed, and mist rolled on the shore. Under clouded moon the waves were loud as the laden ship him bore to Ireland, back to wood and mire, to the tower tall and grey, where the knell of Clonfert's bell tolled in the green Galway, where Shannon down to Loch Derg ran under a rain-clad sky. St. Brendan came to his journey's end to await his hour to die. Oh, tell me, Father, for I have loved you well, if still you have words for me, of things strange in the remembering, in the long and lonely sea, of islands by deep spells beguiled where dwell the elven kind. In 7 long years the road to heaven or the living land did you find. The things I have seen, the many things, have long now faded far. Only 3 come clear now back to me, a cloud, a tree, a star. We sailed for a year and a day and hailed no field nor coast of mean. No boat nor bird saw we ever afloat for 40 days and 10. We saw no sun at set or dawn, but a dun cloud lay ahead, and a drumming there was like thunder coming and a gleam of fiery red. Upreared from sea to cloud, then sheer a shoreless mountain stood. Its sides were black from the sullen tide to the red lining of its hood. No cloak of cloud, no lowering smoke, no looming storm of thunder in the world of men saw I ever unfurled like the pall that we passed under. We turned away and we left astern the rumbling and the gloom. Then the smoking cloud asunder broke and we saw the Tower of Doom. In its ashen head was a crown of red, where fishes flamed and fell. Tall as a column in high heaven's hall, its feet were deep as hell. Grounded in chasms, the water drowned and buried long ago, it stands, I ween, in forgotten lands where the King of Kings lie low. We sailed then on till the wind had failed, and we toiled then with the oar, and hunger and thirst us sorely wrung, and we sang our psalms no more. A land at last with a silver strand at the end of strength we found. The waves were singing in pillared caves and pearls lay on the ground. And steep the shores went upward leaping to slopes of green and gold, and a stream out of rich and teeming through a comb of shadow rolled. Through gates of stone we rode in haste and passed and left the sea, and silence like dew fell in that isle, and holy it seemed to be. As a green cup deep in a brim of green, that with wine the white sun fills, was the land we found. And we saw there stand on a land between the hills a tree more fair than I have deemed might climb in paradise. Its foot was like a great tower's root, its height beyond men's eyes. So wide its branches the least could hold, in shade an acre long. and they rose as steep as mountain snows, those boughs so broad and strong. For white as a winter to my sight the leaves of that tree were, they grew more close than swan-wing plumes, all long and soft and fair. We deemed then, maybe as in a dream, that time had passed away and our journey ended. For no return we hoped, but there to stay. In the silence of that hollow aisle, in the stillness, then we sang, softly, us seemed, but the sound aloft like a pealing organ rang. Then trembled the tree from crown to stem, from the limbs, the leaves in air, as white birds fled in wheeling flight, and left the branches bare. From the sky came dropping down on high a music not of bird, nor voice of man, nor angel's voice, but maybe there is a third, fair kindred in the world, yet lingers beyond the foundered land. Yet steep are the seas and the waters deep beyond the white tree strand. Oh, stay now, Father, there's more to say, but two things you have told, the tree, the cloud, but you spoke of three, the star in mind you hold? The star, yes, I saw it, high and far, at the parting of the ways. A light on the edge of the outer night like silver set ablaze, where the round world plunges steeply down. But on the old road goes, as an unseen bridge that on the arches runs to coasts that no man knows. But men say, Father, that ere the end you went where none have been. I would hear you tell me, Father dear, of the last land you have seen. In my mind, the star I still can find, and the parting of the seas, and the breath is sweet and keen as death that was born upon the breeze. But where they bloom, those flowers fair, in what air or land they grow, what words beyond the world I heard, if you would seek to know. In a boat then, brother, far afloat you must labor in the sea, and find for yourself things out of mind, you will learn no more of me. In Ireland, over wood and mire, in the tower, tall and grey, the knell of Clonfert's bell was tolling in green Galway. Saint Brendan had come to his life's end under a rain-clad sky, and journeyed whence no ship returns, and his bones in Ireland lie. So that's Tolkien's take on Saint Brendan. And it's really interesting. Those of you who know Tolkien, and Lord of the Rings and Silmarillion and things, stuff like that, you will recognize some pretty powerful themes, images, even symbols, narrative elements, right? The idea that west across the sea is a kind of paradise or undying land where older folk dwell still, where a tree, a very special tree, blooms and beyond the cloud and kind of the star that guides and so forth. Of course, all these all factor pretty heavily in the history of Middle Earth. So it's fair to say St. Brendan inspires a fair bit of Tolkien's thinking about his epic stories and things like that. But of course, they represent pretty profound symbols in the Christian life as well, of pilgrimage and journey from this age to an undying age to come, a return to a paradise and so on and so forth. So I thought it was a kind of interesting thing to reflect on and share. And of course, in our current time, we very much yearn, I think, for such a journey into a place where things are a little bit more paradisical, as it were. So thought I would conclude today with the Troparion that we'll be singing on Friday evening, which is in Tone 5. Thine angelic life of fasting has spread thy glory throughout the Church of Christ, O venerable Father Brendan, for thou didst sail the waters of the thundering sea like a merchant seeking a pearl of great price, but didst obtain it in the heavens from the hand of thy Lord. Wherefore, O God-bearing Father, bestow this treasure upon those who now call upon thee with faith, and who cherish thine honored memory.